Are you spending hours in the gym but not seeing the fat loss results that you want? If you've been working out hard yet the scale just won't budge, you're not alone. Most people are making this one mistake that's holding them back. Today we're diving into a topic that affects so many fitness enthusiasts: why exercise alone isn't enough for effective fat loss. You might be surprised to learn that without aligning your diet to your training, you're likely spinning your wheels when it comes to shedding fat. I'm going to break down 5 critical things you need to know to finally see results. Did you know that trying to out-exercise a bad diet is one of the biggest reasons people fail to lose weight? I'm about to show you how even the toughest workout routine can be sabotaged if your diet isn't on point, and what you can do instead. So let's get into it. Here are the 5 essential tips you need to know about aligning your diet with your training for fat loss success. When it comes to fat loss, many people mistakenly believe they need to cut out all of their favorite foods. That's simply not true. In fact, research shows that restrictive diets are one of the primary reasons people fail to maintain long-term weight loss. According to a study published in the journal Obesity Reviews, highly restrictive diets lead to increased cravings, binge eating behaviors, and an eventual loss of dietary control. Participants who avoided foods they enjoyed experience higher rates of weight regain compared to those who practice moderation and include preferred foods with a structured plan. Another study in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics emphasizes the psychological component of eating. When people include foods they enjoy in moderation, they are more likely to stick to their dietary plan over the long term. The study found that diets allowing occasional indulgences had a 50% higher adherence rate over 12 months compared to stricter diets. So we recommend a more flexible approach. This approach encourages individuals to practice portion control and mindful eating rather than the complete elimination of certain foods. For instance, rather than cutting out chocolate entirely, have a small piece as part of your daily calorie allowance. Studies suggest this can reduce the psychological impact of feeling deprived, making the diet more sustainable long term. So what does this mean for you? Instead of banning entire food groups or your favorite treats, learn to incorporate them in a way that aligns with your goals. For example, if you love ice cream, enjoy a small bowl a couple times a week rather than cutting it out completely. This not only makes your diet more enjoyable, but helps prevent the all or nothing mentality that leads to diet failure. People often think they need to make drastic changes to see results. Completely cutting out sugar, skipping meals, or switching to a highly restrictive diet overnight. But making sudden, drastic adjustments can backfire. Studies show that smaller, gradual changes are much more effective in achieving sustainable weight loss. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that individuals who made small, incremental dietary adjustments, such as reducing portion sizes or swapping high-calorie foods for low-calorie alternatives, lost more weight over 12 months compared to those who tried to overhaul their entire diet from the start. This approach was also linked to a higher level of adherence and lower dropout rates, suggesting that people are more likely to stick to changes that don't disrupt their routines too drastically. A study in the journal Behavioral Medicine coined the term "what the hell effect." This describes the all too common tendency to completely abandon dietary efforts after a perceived slip-up. People who adopt extreme changes are more prone to this mentality because the diet is perceived as an all or nothing commitment. Small, flexible adjustments help prevent this mindset, making it easier to bounce back from minor deviations without feeling like a failure. Sudden and severe calorie restriction can also trigger a more drastic change in your metabolism. This effect was highlighted in a 2015 study from Obesity Journal, which found that individuals who rapidly cut their calorie intake experience a much more pronounced decrease in metabolic rate compared to those who implemented a slower, more gradual approach. So, what does this look like in practice? Instead of dropping your calorie intake by 500 or 1,000 calories a day right away, start by cutting 100 to 200 calories from your daily intake. Maybe that means just skipping an extra tablespoon of peanut butter on your toast, or opting for a low-calorie drink instead of a sugary soda. When it comes to fat loss, protein is your best friend. Not only does it help preserve muscle mass while you're in a calorie deficit, it's also the most satiating macronutrient, meaning it keeps you fuller for longer. But how exactly does prioritizing protein benefit your fat loss journey? Protein is well documented as the most filling macronutrient. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that higher protein intake significantly increased satiety and reduced overall calorie consumption throughout the day. Participants on a high protein diet reported 441 fewer daily calories consumed on average due to decreased hunger and craving. When you're in a calorie deficit, there's also a risk of losing lean muscle along with fat. This is where protein plays a crucial role. Research from the Journal of Nutrition showed that individuals who consumed a high protein diet, which was 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight, preserved 30% more muscle mass compared to those on a lower protein diet during weight loss. This preservation of lean muscle mass is crucial because muscle tissue helps maintain your metabolic rate, which is essential for long-term fat loss. Protein has the highest thermic effect of all the macronutrients. This means your body burns more calories digesting and processing protein than it does with carbs or fats. A study in the American Journal of Physiology found that 20 to 30% of the calories in protein are burned through digestion alone, compared to 5 to 10% for carbohydrates and 0 to 3% for fats. This means eating more protein can help you increase your daily calorie expenditure. Okay, so we know protein is essential, but how do we actually get more of it into your diet? First, start by including a protein source in every meal. This could be lean meats or plant-based options like tofu and beans. And if you're really struggling to hit your daily protein goals, consider adding a protein supplement. You can also check out this video where we go over our 5 favorite food swaps to get more protein into your day. Again, we use that baseline of 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. If you're aiming to build muscle or maintain muscle while losing fat, we want you on the higher end of that range. It's tempting to think that the faster you cut calories, the faster you'll lose weight. But slashing your calorie intake too much can do more harm than good. In fact, extreme calorie deficits can actually sabotage your fat loss goals and set you up for long-term metabolic damage. Let's break down why going too low on calories is one of the most common and damaging mistakes that you can make. When you significantly cut calories, your body's natural response is to adapt by lowering its energy expenditure, a phenomenon known as adaptive thermogenesis. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that when participants reduced their daily intake of more than 30%, their resting metabolic rate dropped by as much as 20%. This drop in RMR means that your body is burning significantly fewer calories, making further fat loss increasingly difficult. A severe calorie deficit not only leads to fat loss, but also increases the risk of losing lean muscle, especially if protein intake is not adequate. Research from the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition found that participants on a very low calorie diet lost up to 25% of their total weight as lean muscle. This is problematic because muscle is a metabolically active tissue that helps maintain a healthy metabolic rate. Losing muscle can slow your metabolism, making maintenance even harder in the long run. And no one who starts on a diet goes into it with the goal of losing muscle, not fat. Drastic calorie cuts can also disrupt hormonal balance, particularly levels of leptin and ghrelin, the hormones that regulate hunger and satiety. A 2013 study in obesity reviews revealed that extreme caloric restriction led to a 45% reduction in leptin levels and a simultaneous 30% increase in ghrelin, which resulted in heightened hunger and craving. This hormonal imbalance makes it extremely difficult to stick to such a restrictive diet, leading to overeating and weight regain. Studies also show that people on very low calorie diets experience significantly higher levels of stress, anxiety, and depressive symptoms compared to those on moderate deficits. This mental strain often contributes to a negative relationship with food and exercise, increasing the likelihood of binge eating and emotional eating cycles. So how low is too low? For most people, cutting calories by more than 25% of your daily maintenance needs can lead to the negative effects we just talked about. Instead, aim for a moderate calorie deficit, somewhere around 15 to 20%. This smaller deficit will help you lose fat steadily while preserving muscle and maintaining your energy levels. When it comes to fat loss, too many people focus solely on the diet, obsessing over every calorie and macro. But successful, lasting weight loss is about more than just the food you eat. It's about creating a lifestyle that supports your goals long term. A comprehensive review published in the American Journal of Public Health found that more than 80% of individuals who lose weight through restrictive, diet-only approaches regain all the weight and sometimes more within 5 years. The study highlights that the key predictors of long-term success are not the specifics of the diet, but rather whether the changes were integrated into a sustainable lifestyle that included regular physical activity, stress management, and a balanced relationship with food. Now you can see why we talk about all of these pillars all of the time. That's why these pillars are so important to how we approach fitness and health. Research from the Journal of Obesity emphasizes the concept of habit formation as a cornerstone for lasting weight loss. The study showed that participants who developed consistent lifestyle habits such as regular meal patterns, scheduled workouts, and mindful eating practices maintained a higher percentage of weight loss after 12 months compared to those who relied on temporary dietary restrictions. Establishing routines and habits creates a stable framework that becomes almost automatic, reducing reliance on willpower alone. Sleep and stress management have huge impacts on fat loss. Studies show that individuals who sleep less than 6 hours a night or experience chronic stress had significantly higher levels of visceral fat compared to those who manage sleep and stress effectively. The psychological aspect of weight loss is also often overlooked. Research shows that people who focus on their why, such as improving their health, feeling more energetic, or increasing confidence, rather than just the aesthetics, experience more satisfaction and adherence to their routine. This shift in mindset from short-term diet goals to long-term lifestyle changes created a more positive relationship with food and exercise, reducing the likelihood of relapse. So instead of just focusing on a temporary diet, think about how you can create a lifestyle that fits into your life, not just for the next few months, but for the long haul. This might mean prioritizing meal prepping, scheduling consistent workouts that you enjoy, and making time for sleep and stress relief. These are the unseen factors that drive long-term success. Here's the reality. Fat loss isn't just about how hard you train, but about making your diet work with your exercise, not against it. When you stop trying to out-exercise your diet and start creating a sustainable eating strategy, everything falls into place. Remember, lasting results don't come from punishment or restriction, but from aligning your nutrition with your fitness goals. Start making those small, manageable changes and the results will follow. If you found these 5 tips helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more in-depth guides on training and nutrition. And drop a comment below if you struggle with the diet versus exercise dilemma. Let's figure it out together.